Alright guys, so for today's video, we have quite a few strong characters to talk about, characters that I think have been giving a lot of people trouble, pretty common characters, so let's get right into it. We got a good character right here, we got Squirtle. So when you fight Squirtle, treat him a lot like Kirby, where you don't actually want to fight him. You don't want to press buttons unless they're very safe, right? Very small character, and he has very fast attacks, and he has a good grab and up shield, so he's really good at parrying just naturally because you have to kind of time aerials at linear timings to hit his block. And because he has so many fast shield options, I have a lot of things that are very fast. Pretty much all my aerials are fast, and have decent range. Especially like against short characters, not so much like these rising aerials, but like against taller characters or against people doing rising aerials, they're really like easy to hit people with. He has a look at that grab. I didn't even space at the max range and it worked. Like, bro, he is like a rubber band like hand for that grab, and his big up shield, right? So you can't really hit his shield that well unless you're doing really safe moves, like long-range moves, falling aerials with the intent to bait out his out-of-shield options and punish, because when he does something like this, he is stuck in lag. You can definitely punish that on block, on whiff easily. But you always have to keep in mind that his out-of-shield game is a threat, and you always have to be preempting in ways to not get punished out of shield, not get parried, to bait him out. And really, if you want to play lane versus him, you have to sometimes, because he's not particularly fast, and his hitboxes, while they're nice for out of shield, they're not exactly generous, and he's a lightweight character, of course, so like PT players aren't going to stand him when he takes a lot of damage and you're approaching like 70 or 80. So really exploit that. Make the Squirtle player hate playing this game if you have to, because sadly, sometimes you gotta. And now since we're playing PT, this is awesome for me. I don't have to go back to the character select screen and switch characters, so Ivysaur. With this character, honestly, just keep in mind this character has a lot of multi-hits, and be very aware of what direction he's facing, because that tells you like what he's gonna do, right? Like if he's facing you at this range, he's gonna either forward air or nair, and you can, once you recognize that, you can be like, okay, you forward air, single move back to something out of shield, or oh, you're nairing, respect the multi-hits, and then do something, right? Because I see all the time people hold shield too long versus forward air, and then just miss a free like chance to do something, or they do something the moment the shield is tapped, and they get hit, right? So you always have to be aware of that. And with back air, it's so hard to do a single back air. Like you can if you do like this, but for the most part, because of also the knockback angle, Ivysaur players want to get those double hit back airs, and you have to block both those hits. If you just block one hit, you're just gonna get hit a lot. And adding on to all this stuff, make sure, especially for his multi-hit aerials, you're DIing properly. Versus back air, a lot of times down and away is fine. Versus neutral air, also a lot of times down and away is fine, including SDI. Because they're multi-hit moves, SDIing can be very useful. If you don't know what SDIing is, it's basically like kind of, let's go to the show, I should make a video on this. But basically wiggling your analog stick between like 2 or 3 different points while you're getting hit. Ivysaur's gonna get a lot of mileage if you're not ready to block his moves and DI them correctly, but the character becomes so much easier when you're not getting cheesed at 50 by nairs and back airs. And now for Charizard. Honestly, when I fight Charizard players, I'm just like, y'all are trying to get the dumb stuff. Like, I'm not dumb. I've played this game enough. I know you're looking to hit me with like neutral air because I'm at 50% to side B. Like, I don't know. You gotta preempt them doing things like that. You gotta preempt them going, hey, you're at the ledge at 70. Guess what move I'm gonna use? If you guys didn't guess it, it's back here. And to be fair, the reason I do that is because the character doesn't have the most like solid set of buttons, so they kind of have to look for the cheesy stuff. But really, just be aware of that. You know, if you see them off stage, like be aware of where they're going and what they can potentially kill you with. That'd be aware of up smash out of shield, because that's just a phenomenal tool for Charizard, and its grab as well. To be fair, but like this is a phenomenal tool you always have to respect. Alright, Diddy Kong, everyone's favorite character to fight, right? Right?
Wrong!
Screw this character. In every game he's in, screw him. But anyway, so when you fighting Diddy Kong, if you grab his banana, keep it from him, like as much as possible, because this character really wants it, and Diddy players tend to freak out when they don't have it, right? Like, if you have it, you know, just throw it up behind you. So he has to get past you to get it, which is really annoying. Even like sometimes throwing it up and then just like catching it over and over with aerials while like zoning them out, it can be really good if you're confident in that. That helps a lot. And if you're really good with it, you can start doing a lot of like Z-drop aerials and basically fight him while having the banana in hand as a threat, but also That way you can't use it, right? Like if you're doing this over and over and just constantly fighting him and spacing whatever while keeping his banana, his life is so much harder. So blow out the banana. Get used to using it. Feel comfortable with it. Feel comfortable with even the timing of catching it in situations when he's like here, right? Like really practice with it, because the matchup goes from sometimes feeling unwinnable to honestly feeling kind of easy based on how comfortable you are using the banana. Alright, Lucas. With this character, you have to keep in mind that his hitboxes are really good horizontally, but not so much vertically. Like forward is amazing horizontally. Side B, there, right? But if you come at him from like an above or below angle, he doesn't have the best option to cover it. He has to basically cover it with movement and positioning himself to be horizontal again. So exploit that. If you have like sword aerials, you can already hit him from like the dead angle of like diagonally above and in front of him. Or if he's jumping, getting like set below him. Even above him, his like up air, his up air is pretty good as a hitbox, same with down air. So you can't really challenge him from there that well. But you don't need to. Combine that with the fact that his out show game is very weak. It means he's just very susceptible to good pressure. And he doesn't have an answer to kind of some characters' spacing games as a result. Unless the Lucas player is like just straight up outplaying you, to be honest. Alright, for everyone's favorite character to fight online and watch for the past however many games, Sonic the freaking Hedgehog. So, when you're fighting this character, you don't have to challenge Spin Dash. You don't have to do anything about this move. When Sonic does Spin Dash, it puts you and the Sonic player in a 50-50, which to be fair, Sonic player is used to it, so they're probably gonna play better than you if you're not like recognizing this. But when you Spin Dashes like this, and you block it, this is a 50-50, right? You might like just stop in front of you, he can jump and do like an aerial. You can jump early, of course, like, oh my god. This. So, there's a lot of 50-50s, but the big thing is when he hits your shield, you have to recognize you're playing a guessing game. And if you have a big nair that covers around you, or big up smash that covers like above and around you, those are very good options versus him, right? Because you can kind of contest a lot of his options in that situation by just being like, hey, I am Sephiroth, I'm gonna nair, or I'm Cloud, I'm gonna nair. Or like, I'm Rosa, I'm gonna up smash. And so keep that in mind. And even if you can't do that, or you're not comfortable in the read, or he's just choosing options that beats that, he's still in a spot that's not necessarily great for him. Like this situation happens, right? And now, from your perspective, oh my god, Sonic Spin Dash me, this is BS, what'd I do? My perspective, hey, he's in the air. I have a chance to catch his landing or force him into the corner. I have a chance to maybe bait out like a neutral beat, but things that go for that. And then hard punish him. Or like, wait for an up B and then chase him. And like, there's so many things that can go on that like, I drop my controller. That can happen too. Out of frustration of fighting this character. But there's so many things going on that ends up being a really multi-layered mix-up game. And you just have to be ready to play that game. And one thing you realize is most Sonic players aren't the best at mixing it up because he has so many options. It's hard to keep track of all the options. He can do it even as the Sonic player. If you can't beat the mix-up game, if you're not confident in what he's going to do, you think you missed a punch, whatever it is, just reset the neutral. Unless you're being aggressive in neutral, he's not the best at like just straight up winning it versus solid defensive play like this. And with that said, guys, that is it for this week's video. You already know the drill, so I'll catch you for the next one.